What's up, guys? On this video I'm going to be talking about a wrap update here for my 2021 TRD Off-Road Premium. I'm going to be talking about the wrap that I went with, how long it took to get it installed, how long I've had it for, what is the cost, and overall if I'm going to be doing this again. And most importantly, I'm actually going to be showing you in detail of how the wrap looks after some ownership time. So let's go ahead and talk about the wrap. Now I went with a 3M brand vinyl wrap. This one I ordered from Metro Restyling. They had a 5% discount. I decided to take the leap and I ordered that wrap, and this was the first time that I've actually wrapped a vehicle. Now with that said, the wrap cost me roughly about $800, and it cost probably like another $100 for the knifeless tape and all the other little things that are required to wrap the vehicle. Now, overall, again, I probably spent about $900. If you were to get this wrapped outside in California, I think I've gotten some quotes between $4,000 to $5,000. So that is quite expensive for a wrap. And when I watched a ton of YouTube videos, I decided, hey, it didn't look that difficult. So I took the leap of faith and I ordered the wrap and I wrapped the vehicle. Now let's talk about why I went with satin black. I was originally on the fence between a matte or satin black, but I wanted something a little bit more shiny, so I ended up going with a satin black instead of something that's completely matted. I overall like that choice. It looks really nice. It's matted, yet it has a little shine to it. So I definitely like the 3M satin black. That's something that I really like, and if I was to rewrap it again, I'm probably gonna go with another satin finish. I did try using a glossy wrap and it was a lot more difficult. It didn't have as much play. So as far as a beginner, the satin or the matte is a lot easier to work with. Now, as far as how long it took me to wrap, if you haven't seen my previous videos, when I initially got my car, it was brand new. I wanted to wrap it as soon as possible. So I wrapped it within the 6 months of ownership, before I went on any heavy trails and stuff like that. And it took me 52 hours to wrap this. That was over the course of 4 weekends. It was a pain in the butt because I had to wash the car every single time I decided to wrap a section of it. And again, overall 52 hours to wrap. It was quite a lot. It took quite a long time, and my car wasn't quite built yet. It was bare bones, empty. I didn't have the rack. I didn't have the roof, the rooftop tent. So it was a lot easier. And now if you're looking at it now, it is fully built. It is going to take quite a bit of work, not only to rewrap it, but to take off the wrap. So to get this done, I would have to take out almost every single piece that's on the exterior. The main thing that is probably going to give me trouble is going to be the rooftop tent and the roof rack. So that has to get removed, and I do have a solar setup there. So again, it is a lot of little mods and uninstalling things that's going to take or going to be time consuming. So before I get into that, let's talk a little bit more about the wrap. I did get this car just washed yesterday. I didn't want to show you it dirty, but I want to show you how the wrap is. I'm not going to get to the worst part of the wrap, but I'm going to show you the overall car first. So everything was wrapped pretty well. Again, my first time, and it has stayed on pretty well. I think I did an overall pretty good job. This was one of the only mistakes that I made with the handles. It was tricky. It was my first door panel, but everything else that I did was perfect. Now, there is very minor wear and tear. There is a little bit of some wear and tear on the inside. This was due to being not professionally wrapped, but I did a pretty good job. This was also quite difficult to wrap. And then the rear bumper area was very difficult to do. So that was one of the most challenging areas. It was this rear bumper area. A pain in the butt. Definitely took a lot of time to do. Everything's held up pretty nice. All the lines were pretty straight. I did have another damaged spot here of some clear coat of the wrap coming off. But as you guys can see, overall it is pretty good still as far as the side's concerned. This took a little scratch here. That's held up. There's a lot of tiny scratches here from you know, passengers holding the door, maybe using some keys. Just overall basic wear and tear. Again, the rooftop tent and the rack is something that I dread taking off again. Another part is going to be the snorkel. So I do need to remove the snorkel before I rewrap the fender if I decide to do that. But overall, I've had this wrap for 2 years exactly. So it is mid-July, and I wrapped it mid-July 2021. It is mid-July 2023. So this has been exactly 2 years of ownership. Now the main areas that started to fail is going to be the bumper. The front, I'm sorry, it's going to be the hood. The hood and this WeatherTech visor that's also in the front. So this area seems to take the most damage from the sun. I also do spray some matte protection after I wash the vehicle every single time. So I was hoping that it would last longer than this. That UV protection, I was thinking would help you know, protect this a bit more. But a little bit about the condition and where I keep it. So I am in Southern California, so it is really hot. It is really sunny here. And with the rooftop tent, I'm unable to keep this in a parked garage. So it is very limited. I have to keep this in the sun. I don't have a car bag on top of this. So it is exposed to the sun. It is still smooth to the touch, but again, if you look closely to it, it is damaged. Kind of looks like a whale's back. There's some sunspots that are really bad here. But overall, this is the area that, if you can see, everything looks fine here. It's only when you get to the hood that it's taking on a lot of damage. Look at that. I'm thinking that not only is it the sun, but it being exposed in the sun and the heat from the engine, all that is going to contribute to this sun damage that I have going on here. So guys, I really wasn't expecting this to only last for 2 years. I was expecting it to get at least 3 years from this, but it only lasted exactly 2 years. Now, when I started seeing these sunspots here, this happened about 1 year and 9 months into the ownership. And then the last 3 months, it just took off and it just started deteriorating really quickly here. And it got to a point where it's not a matter of if, it's when. I got to get this taken off, or I got to get this rewrapped. So that's kind of where I'm on the fence of. I'm trying to answer the question for you on if I'm going to do this again or not. So it would be a lot easier to just pay somebody to get this wrapped. They would have to remove all the extra accessories that I have on here, which is a pain. But that's going to, again, cost me about $4,000 to $5,000. I don't want to pay that amount of money if I'm going to have to do this every 2 years. That's just not part of my maintenance cost and something that I want to do. So if I am going to do this again, I'm going to be tackling it on myself. So I'm still on the fence, still not 100% sure if I should wrap it again, if I should even go with the same color. I just don't want to do this every 2 years. That's kind of the main issue. But what I am thinking about doing possibly is buying some time and just rewrapping the hood first, and maybe the hood, the bug deflector, and the hood scoop vent right here. So I'm thinking about rewrapping that in the satin black first. That might buy me maybe another 6 months to a year before the sides have to go. But I'm really not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing next. But I did want to give you guys a wrap update on this, because you know, if you guys are thinking about wrapping your vehicle, you got to think about where your vehicle is going to be in a few years. You know, with me compounding all these extra things on the car, it doesn't make it any easier to rewrap it. It just gets more difficult. So, you know, I'm thinking if I'm going to rewrap it, I might take a section at a time, and just maybe over the course of the fall or heading towards winter when it's a little bit cooler, I'll rewrap the doors, then eventually get to the back, and maybe even take my roof tent top off for a bit. So that's my direction there. Overall, if I'm gonna do it again, I would probably think twice. You know, after wrapping it, it did keep my brand new car prestige. I haven't seen the paint under it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty pristine. I just gotta make the time to get the hood wrap off right away before it causes any more damage, and it makes it difficult for me to remove. So, you know, it was a fun experiment. I do get a lot of head turns when they see this vehicle. They love it, but after seeing the way the hood is looking at right now, I'm not too happy with that finish. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if you guys want any other shots of the vehicle, and you know, overall, if you want to see anything on the car after it's updated to where it's at right now. So I'm going to drop a link below for everything that I've used. If you guys haven't seen my other videos where I wrap the vehicle, you know, make sure you guys take a look at that. And if you guys want to follow along and subscribe, I'm also going to be doing another update eventually when I rewrap this. Either way, I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. So leave a comment below. If you guys have a certain color you guys think might be cool if I decide to wrap my car, I'd love to take a look at that. So I got, again, this at Metro Restyling. They got a ton of different finishes. Let me know if you guys see something that you guys like. I'll catch you guys on the next one.